Hey yogis, Shan here at Practice Indy, and we are looking at Warrior 2 today. Warrior 2 pose is both everybody's favorite and nobody's favorite, depending on how you like leg work. So we're going to be looking at the pose in terms of your edge, in terms of alignment, and in terms of things to get curious about your own spectacular anatomy. So no two bodies are the same, and no two Warrior 2s are the same. So yeah, my invitation to you through this class workshop thing is to just get curious about that. So for this practice, you're gonna need a chair, and you're also going to need to analyze your edge. So you may have heard in a vinyasa class, a teacher or a yin class, a teacher visit the idea of edge, go to your edge, hold at your edge or back away from the edge. Think of the edge quite literally like an edge. I'm afraid of heights, so anytime I'm in a tall place, I'm the person closest to the wall, right, like freaking out, versus those people that's not their fear. They're like right over the edge, like whoa, whoa, whoa. So we're on the same building. We have similar bodies and that we're human beings, yet our edge is totally different. So explore what that means for you, and in every pose it's gonna look different, just like every fear and situation is different. So this shouldn't be a fear-based thing, but rather knowing where your edge lies and then honoring, do you stay there, do you pull back, do you face that challenge? Cool? So let's go ahead and start sitting in our chair. And you're gonna take a nice wide stance in that chair. We're gonna come into a modified goddess squat, and then pushing our hands into our knees. Our knees should be over our ankles. We're just gonna start to stretch through the adductors. And you might even travel your hands down to your ankles if you're feeling a little bit mobile, bending your elbows into your knees to press your knees back. You might even take your hands all the way down to the earth and use your glute muscles, your butt muscles, to pull your knees back in space to externally rotate your legs. Good, then slowly coming back up. We're gonna toe heel our feet in. Keep our feet hip width distance. Push our knees out, engaging our glutes. Taking our arms overhead, inhale. As you exhale, rock your weight forward enough until you simulate chair. Keep rocking your weight forward enough until you, whoa, come into chair, just hovering your butt over the actual chair. You're in a chair, the actual chair is behind you. V confusing. Okay, push your knees out, feel your glutes engaged. Hold here. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale to stand all the way up. Nice job. Woo! Exhale, shake your legs out. We're going to take that chair, bring it to the top of our space or our mat if you're using one. Then come into a Tadasana pose facing the seat of the chair. Feet hip width distance. Spine is stacked and neutral. Inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale, bend your knees a lot and fold, using the chair to support your arms. So you let your head drop, stretching through the hamstrings. You can start to straighten the legs, or if you need more grace in your hamstrings, keep them bent. And we'll take the left leg to the back of the mat. Lower the left knee down to the earth, stretching your arms as far forward as you can. So we're going for length here, from the back toe all the way to the fingertips. Nice deep breath in and out. Good, inhale, press your hands to the seat of the chair. Use it if you need for stability. Back your hips up. Turn your left toes behind you. Walk your hands to the inside of your stance. Toe heel your right foot so that it lines up with your left knee. Bending your right knee over your left ankle. Sorry, bending your right knee over your right ankle. And then coming up, squaring the hips as best you can. So bringing your hands to your hip points, trying to level those hip points. Taking the right hand to the inside of the right knee and slightly pushing it back. Okay, so just noticing that stretch in the adductor. We're looking for that when we actually come into the pose. And then also noticing that glute engagement. Take one more breath. Good, and then just noticing with your hip here, the placement of it. So your hip is approximately over your knee. That will change in Warrior 2. So we're gonna take our hands down, keep our right knee over our ankle, and walk our left thigh out a bit, our left knee out a bit, and you might need to keep a hand on the ground here. So simulating a little bit closer to our warrior two, but with more stability. I have sensitive knees, so I'm gonna keep both hands down. One more breath. Good, then we're gonna tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and walk that back foot in so that the front heel and the back arch align. Bending the right knee to a square, so building from the ground up. And then starting to slowly come up into our warrior two. So you'll notice I'm not parallel. If that's the cue you've heard and you want to explore that edge, you might work your foot out until you get knee over ankle and front thigh parallel. So for me, that's a much deeper stance than I'm used to coming into. Again, we're going to check that the knee is pressing back so the glute is engaged. I'm feeling that stretch across my adductor and my hip points are level. Now, a couple people have mentioned that their foot or their ankle hurts here. So I'm going to come out for a second. I want you to play with your stance. So turn your left heel, so the back heel in, and the toe out. And for me, my knee is not fully aligned with my foot, but that feels a little bit better in my ankle joint. Because I'm hyperextended, it makes my knee hurt a little bit. So I'm playing around with softening the knee to find that little Goldilocks of engagement and stretch here, stretch and lengthen through the back leg, and now my ankle doesn't feel anything. Good, so a traditional yoga class would tell you that's not the alignment. Get curious about your own anatomy. Maybe you try that and you turn the toes more on like a 45-degree angle, and then bend the front knee again. Take your arms out to warrior two. Okay, so my knee is not stacking up with my ankle. I'd get curious about that. Make sure that doesn't cause you any pain. Again, I'm going to soften my knee to account for my hyperextension. I'm not having any stress on the back ankle. Last bit, I'll bring it all the way to the traditional alignment, toes forward on the back leg or towards the long edge of the mat, front leg towards the short edge. As I come back in, I definitely feel that strain in my ankle now. Now I'm going to think about pulling my back thigh up into the socket, which actually helps me level my hips more and take some of the stress out of that foot. So you may try that, but you probably saw that front leg couldn't go as deep, and that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and take this to the other side, and since I'm facing you, I'm gonna shift my chair. So, inhale to reach the arms up. Exhale to fold over the chair. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, hands stay on the chair, right foot steps to the back of the mat, lowering the right knee and then reaching my arms forward, stretching through my hip flexor, dropping my head down, thinking about length. And then starting to slowly peel myself up, turning my right toes behind me, keeping my left foot as it is. I'm walking it in line with my knee of the standing leg. Okay, and just feeling that stretch across again, feeling level hips, knee over ankle. I might play around with bringing my hands down and lengthening that stance so it's more true to warrior two. My right knee is much more agile than my left, so I'm going to come up into the full stance here. Maybe even extend my arms. And then taking my hands down, tucking my back toes, bringing that foot into the natural or the normalized, I would say, alignment, heel to arch. Bending my left knee to a square, coming into my warrior two. I could even go longer. And then flirting with that edge. For me, I'm not peeking over. I'm like stepping over. Okay, so I might shorten my stance. And then again, playing around with that back ankle, trying it on a 45-degree angle. Noticing what that does. Playing around with it less on a 45, closer to a 90. And then playing around with it in that true 90. Just checking out where my warrior two is, thinking about hugging the right leg into the hip, which will take some pressure off that ankle, might still give you pain in your foot or your ankle, so then accommodate for your unique anatomy. Last thing I want to look at is the arms. So I've heard a teacher I love, Amy Thomas, say that the front arm is reaching into the future, the back arm is reaching into the past. We want to square ourselves in the center. People tend to lean one direction or the other or drop their arms in such a way. So you're going to take yourself to a wall. You don't need your chair. Coming coming into warrior two and then taking your arms out into your T. Okay, you can test this by bending your elbows, looking side to side, elbows shoulder distance, and then re-extending through the elbows to find your forearms. Really focus on that pushing back as you broaden through the heart. Make sure to do both sides. So again, I might take the cactus, re-extend, broadening through the collarbones, noticing if both shoulder blades are on the wall or if I feel one more than the other. And then taking a rest. Final variation of this pose is taking it back to the chair. So sitting as we began, in that second position or goddess pose, only now my right leg's going to stay where it is, my left leg's going to elongate, and I'm going to try to get both butt cheeks on the chair and then hug in through the back leg. As I extend the arms, again maybe bending my elbows, finding them in line with my shoulders, and then re-extending through those elbows, keeping the shoulders where they are. As we come to the other side, you might bend the elbows to switch, finding the alignment, dropping both sits bones down, bending through the elbows, getting them in line with your shoulders, and then straightening up. So these are some things to look at as you play around with warrior two. It's a beautiful pose, it's a challenging pose, and it's one that invites us to look at our own unique edge, our own unique anatomy, and make choices based off of what serves us. So, best wishes, engage those glutes, and namaste.